Hi, I'm Nathan Lynn with the McCracken County Public Library. I'm here today at the former site of the Carnegie Public Library in Paducah, Kentucky, on Broadway and Kentucky and 9th Street. The library operated here for over 60 years, from its opening in 1904 through the fire that would permanently close it in December of 1964.
Wherever I may wander, wherever I may go, always float back down the Ohio. Wherever I may travel, wherever I may roam, Paducah calls me home. Paducah calls me home. Paducah calls me home.
In February of 1901, the Paducah Sun reported that the local Ministers Association had nominated First Baptist Church minister G.W. Perry to write a letter to Andrew Carnegie in hopes of getting funding for a library in the city. Carnegie, a Scottish-American immigrant who rose to riches in the steel industry, donated some $60 million towards funding nearly 1,700 libraries. A library outranks any other one thing a community can do to benefit its people. It is a never-failing spring in the desert, he once said. By October of that year, Carnegie had responded, proposing an investment of $35,000, providing that $3,500 be raised for yearly operating costs and a building site. Funds were raised, and it was decided that the library would set here at 9th and Broadway. Ground was broken on August 14, 1902, and finally, on October 5, 1904, over 2,000 people attended the opening reception for the Paducah Carnegie Library. The library began circulating materials a week later, the original collection containing 1,800 books. According to the Paducah Sun, Thursday, October 29, 1903, the building itself measured some 84 feet long, 72 feet deep, and 37 feet tall, with a dome apex of 55 feet. The exterior was Bedford stone and buff brick. It had a terracotta cornice and roof with valleys of copper. The framing of the dome was steel, the exterior galvanized iron, and its top ribbed glass. The main entrance was on the north end of the Broadway side, with 2 flights of steps leading to a porch supported by 4 12-foot tall columns. Through the heavy double-doored entrance was a vestibule with storm doors leading to the main library room. Near the entrance were the cloakrooms, one for the ladies on the left and one for the gentlemen on the right. This beautiful hall with the dome overhead was home to the circulation desk, and behind it still shelving that could hold some 60,000 volumes. The walls of the main hall were finished in marble, complete with marble columns and pedestals. The ceiling of the dome had 24 panels of art glass in a fish-scale pattern. On the left and right-hand sides were reading rooms and the children's room, both separated from the main hall by swinging doors and glass partitions. To the rear of the building sat a catalog room, a trustee's room, and the librarian's room. The basement was divided into a central hall, lecture room, newspaper room, 5 maintenance rooms, and 3 toilet bathrooms. All the rooms, other than the main hall, were paneled in oiled oak, and the floors were hardwood finished. The building was prepared to be lighted by either electricity or gas, with chandeliers in all the main rooms and 52 electrical lights in the dome. The walls were oil-painted by artists, and the designs of the scroll ornaments were of Louis XIV's Empire and the Italian Renaissance. All the rooms had medallion portraits, some 38 of well-known historians, scientists, poets, artists, and a portrait of Mr. Andrew Carnegie just over the delivery counter immediately in front of the main entrance door. The paintings in the dome contained 8 allegorical pictures, a quarter over life size, portraying poetry, painting, sculpture, music, astronomy, architecture, industry, and more. The Paducah Sun went on to state, "It was clearly built to last, and the ravages of years will no doubt find it still standing, a monument to wisdom as well as generosity." It was truly one of a kind. Well, sort of. Through the years, Carnegie helped fund 23 public and 4 academic libraries in Kentucky, including ones in Hickman and neighboring Metropolis, Illinois, which still stand today. Over the next half a century, the Paducah Carnegie would go through numerous changes. The building survived both the 1913 and 1937 floods. In the 1920s, funds were provided to make county residents able to use the Carnegie. The library was opened to county residents on September 1, 1926. While there was talk of a branch station at Lincoln High School for black residents, the Paducah Carnegie Library remained segregated. In 1933, the Elbridge Palmer Memorial Edition was dedicated. Isaac W. Bernheim, a resident of Paducah from 1868 to 1888, provided $20,000 in funds for the edition in memory of Palmer, his close friend, along with a collection of books. In the 1940s, Irvin S. Cobb bequeathed a number of books to the library that were kept intact as a separate collection. This collection is housed today in the Local and Family History Room. Also in the 40s, Virginia Jones, the children's librarian, created the Anna Bird Stewart Children's Department with renovations of 2 rooms in the basement. Many remember the librarians over the years, like Harriet Boswell, who served for over 40 years at the Carnegie. In 1954, the Bertie Fowler Campbell Music Room was established as the library celebrated its golden anniversary. Through the years, numerous programs were held at the Paducah Carnegie Library, from educational to entertaining, instructional, and all in between. Like in December of 1964, when over 746 dolls were made for story time. Memories were made, but this would be one of the last programs held at the Paducah Carnegie Library. On December 30th, 1964, around 9 a.m., as an employee plugged in a Christmas tree lighting system, faulty wiring caused a fire to erupt in the children's department on the west side of the lower level of the library. Flames spread up the stairs through the west wings of the upper floors and into the dome and roof. In what Bill Powell, the Sun, cited as Kentucky's only major public library fire, the loss was unfathomable at the time. While it was reported that the fire was in check within 10 minutes, at 10 a.m. the fire was still smoldering in the dome as firemen worked to extinguish remnants of the blaze. Numerous windows had to be broken, axes used on walls and floors, and the high-pressure hoses left standing water in the basement. Many volumes and records were saved by the firemen who kept the flames from spreading into the main stacks, but many couldn't be rescued. In all, over 15,000 books were burned or ruined. Most of the reading rooms were destroyed or suffered extensive smoke and water damage. The stairs were in shambles, ornate molding was wrecked, and electrical wiring destroyed. Marble snapped off from posts and panels. The leaded glass of the dome popped and shattered to the floor, and with it came the chandelier and bells. With so much damage, the windows and doors were boarded up, and the Paducah Carnegie Library was closed, never to open again. While the future of the library sat in limbo, the library's holdings were transferred to 707 Broadway, Paducah Junior College, owned by Broadway United Methodist Church. Many thought the Carnegie building should be salvaged, but it was ultimately decided that a new library building would be built on a separate site. In June of 1968, Grace Episcopal Church purchased their neighboring property and maintain it still today. On April 21, 1970, demolition of the 66-year-old Carnegie Library began. However, in April of 1970, a brand new 28,000 square foot public library building was opened here at 555 Washington Street. The building was designed to hold 125,000 volumes, and the name was changed from the Paducah Area Public Library to the Paducah Public Library, and later to the McCracken County Public Library. While the building itself is no longer with us, numerous items remain from the Carnegie, including these beautiful columns that are now housed at 555, along with desks, chairs, and more. The circulation desk is found in the lobby of the Market House Museum, and the fountain that once stood in front of the Carnegie was moved to Jefferson Street. Many folks passed through the doors of the Carnegie, including the young Paducah and Hugh Edwards, who went on to become one of America's most influential curators with the Art Institute of Chicago. During his youth, Edwards captured his love for his friends and the Carnegie with his camera. In the early 2000s, His scrapbook of photos was returned home thanks to the Art Institute of Chicago, and his photos are now available for viewing on our digital collections site. The Carnegie left a lasting impression on both Paducahans and visitors alike. Through the years, its walls helped educate, entertain, and provide shelter. It's certain Paducah would not be the place that it is today without this remarkable building. While we celebrate 50 years at 555 Washington, we cherish the times had here at the Carnegie Public Library. On behalf of the McCracken County Public Library staff, we wish you a happy holiday season. For more information, visit us today online at www.mclib.net.